History had been a myth before he turned it into science, though his own life looks like a legend. Greece's patriot and a keen traveler, the founder of ethnography, a scientist and a writer, the father of history, Herodotus of Halicarnassus, made the distant past of the European civilization closer and more understandable for modern people. The future historian Herodotus was born in 484 BC in the town of Halicarnassus, a Greek colony at the coast of Asia Minor, in a noble and rich family. Though Herodotus was a Persian citizen, he was proud to be a descendant of Hellenes. He liked to listen to stories of foreign sailors about the freedom-loving Greek town of Athens, where the wise rulers, Solon and Clisthenes, carried out democratic reforms. But in his native Halicarnassus, the tyrant Lygdamis was striving for establishing his autocratic power. Young Herodotus, with other supporters of democracy, came out against the tyrant. The revolt was suppressed, and saving his life, Herodotus moved to the island of Samos, where one of the richest Greek states was situated. In 464 BC, 20-year-old Herodotus left the hospitable island and went traveling about the countries of the East. Traveling by land and sea, Herodotus visited Phoenicia, Syria, Macedonia, Olbia, Delphi, and Athens. Herodotus of Halicarnassus turned out to be an inquisitive and enterprising traveler. He carefully investigated the inscriptions on sacred steles, temple chronicles, collections of oracles' prophecies, read numerous literary works, studied local folklore. Later, Herodotus's personal observations that he diligently wrote down in his travel notes formed the basis of his book, the famous History, the first historical work of ancient times. Herodotus described the layout of the populous city of Babylon and the method of erecting buildings in his travel notes. In Egypt, the sociable citizen of Halicarnassus learned from Egyptian priests that it was written on the pyramid of Cheops how much black radish, onion, and garlic thousands of slaves ate during building this tomb. Herodotus also visited the northern coast of the Black Sea, where he got acquainted with the Scythian tribes, who were militant and cruel. According to Herodotus, Scythians drank the blood of the enemies they killed, and made bowls of enemies' skulls, and boasted about them before foreigners at the feasts. The descriptions of the Scythians' life Herodotus made in the 5th century BC were confirmed by the modern archaeological investigations of Scythian sepulchral mounds in the south of Russia and in Ukraine. The travel notes of Herodotus of Halicarnassus, made during the 10 years of his wanderings, became a part of his grandiose work that was never given a title. However, some historians think that Herodotus's work was called history, in ancient Greek, investigation, research. 300 years later, in the 2nd century BC, the scientists of Alexandria divided Herodotus's composition into 9 books and gave them the names of 9 muses. The first book got the name of Clio, the Muse of History. The wars of Greeks against the Persian Empire of the Aemenids became the outline of the great work. Herodotus was a contemporary in these events. The historian admired the courage of the Greeks and wanted to tell the future generations about these fierce battles that lasted almost 50 years. Using his travel notes, Herodotus told about wars of Greeks and Persians in an epic manner with a lot of digressions. He expounded the history of the Persian state, informed about the customs and traditions of people who lived in Asia Minor, their religions, economic, and political life. In 443 BC, Herodotus moved to the south of Italy, where, after the wars between Greeks and Persians had ended, it was decided to form a Greek settlement named Thurii. The 40-year-old scientist was called a Thurian for his active participation in setting up the colony. According to the researchers, Thurii became Herodotus's last home. But it is also possible that at the end of his life, the historian returned to Athens from Thurii. It isn't known much about the last years of Herodotus's life. He probably took part in the political struggle between Athens and Sparta, continued working on his monumental work that remained unfinished. The history ends suddenly at the description of besieging the town of Cesta in 478 BC. Herodotus lived about 60 years and died in about 425 BC. 4 centuries later, Cicero, the Roman emperor, called Herodotus the father of history. For modern scientists, Herodotus's monumental work is a priceless source of information about the history of ancient countries.